Hello, everyone. This is the.
Hold on, restart.
Oh my gosh!
No, don't turn it off.
Yeah.
We just gotta keep on going.
Yes,
we just
yes,
gotta
yes.
keep on going because we're
Yes.
on. I think it'll just help that if the camera's on us right now,
Yes.
because then we can just cut this out,
Yeah.
like literally from the video.
Yeah.
All right, so
So,
okay,
this.
we're serious now.
Yeah, we're serious. So this is the start of the Thinkings podcast, and it's me, Rogelio,
And me, Jake.
and we are very excited to start this podcast. This is our pilot episode, and we just want to say that we are very grateful for this opportunity that we've this goal that we set upon ourselves to just create content and show it to people around the world. And just so you guys can have a background on ourselves, we are students at UWM, so University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. I am a mechanical engineering student.
And I'm a biomedical engineering student. We're both sophomores, by the way.
Yes, and we're both engineering students. And our last year was very hard and interesting for me. This guy really did a very good job, but I'm trying to learn from him and try to be better. And in this podcast, we really want to teach people things, kind of showing people certain things from our point of view, but also teaching people things that they probably never thought about, or maybe that few people have thought about before. And we hope that this podcast can grow and that people can follow us and support us, because it should be quite the journey. I mean, we hope that it is.
Yeah, we're gonna have so much fun doing this podcast, and we're gonna probably have a lot of awkward things happen, and a lot of maybe there's gonna be a couple of silences.
Yes.
Probably in the beginning, but
Yeah.
I think as we get the ball rolling, it's gonna be really, really fun, and
Yes.
we hope that everyone enjoys everything that we talk about.
For sure. And we all have our different backgrounds. So I'm actually Cuban, Haitian. I came here to the United States like almost 4 years ago, and I have learned a lot of things. There's a lot of differences between the different cultures, the Haitian Cuban culture and the American culture, that is very interesting, and I've learned and sort of incorporated that in my life. Jake has also some different background that
Yeah.
you could.
I'm Hmong, so that's a type of Southeast Asian. So I'm, how do I say it? I don't know. I'm just from, again, another ethnically diverse background.
Yeah. Jake is you're part of like a clan of different.
Yeah, my last name
Nice.
is what denotes what clan I'm from.
Yeah.
So I'm a Xiong. But the twist is my last name is spelled with an S and not an X. So if anyone is Hmong watching this and maybe wondering why my name would start with an S, my last name starts with S, it's just because that's how my family wanted it to be.
Yeah. And we also have a lot of interests, don't we? Like I like to play music. I mainly play saxophone and piano. I like to write things and make art. And that's mostly like my really core interest. I have interest in science too. I like to read and just learn about just any scientific thing. And even though school for like science has been challenging, but I'm trying to do better. And I would say the sciences is something that I just need to just take the time to read and then learn and just practice. So
Yeah, our interest definitely influenced why we wanted to start this podcast too.
Yeah.
We basically love all kinds of information. We like attaining new knowledge. And so that's why we love engineering, we love science, and we love art, and we love, well, art, different kinds of art like writing.
yeah,
Definitely we have made some stories, have had story ideas,
yeah,
and we have drawn a lot of stuff.
yes,
Maybe painted
many
a lot of
different
stuff
things.
too.
Yep, a lot of different things. And so yeah, we have a very diverse background of interests, of cultures, languages too. Jake here speaks a little bit of Hmong.
I speak a little bit Hmong, but I don't think it's enough for me to hold the conversation that well.
Yes. And I speak French because of my Haitian heritage, Spanish because of my Cuban heritage, Haitian Creole because in Haiti we speak another language that is more of the language that kind of everyone speaks, is the like common people's language, and English, of course, because we living here in the US. So yeah, I would say our lives are very interesting, and we're very grateful that we're friends and that we know each other and we can share a lot of things about ourselves. And definitely our interests are like things that tied us together, and are things that we can, I don't know, that it's very important for us to have this relationship, really, I would say. So yeah. Anyways, what is the first thing that we should talk about?
Well, the first thing we're going to talk about today is, because this is the grand opening of our podcast,
Yeah.
this is the first episode.
Yep.
It's called Start Thinking.
Start
And
thinking.
so we're basically going to be talking about how to start doing things you want to do. For example, our podcast right now, we started this podcast because we had the idea, but we didn't start it until about a semester
after
we had
school,
the idea. And so today's September 29th.
2024.
Yep.
It is currently 7:35. Yep, 7:35. And we're here in my house's basement. And there's, I guess,
It's a full house. It's a full house.
It's a full house.
We're just in the basement so that we get some quiet space.
Yes.
Literally,
Hmm?
before this, we had a bunch of people down here because it's the grand opening.
Yep.
We got our supporter behind the camera sitting down.
Yes. Shout out to our camera woman up there. And I would say my family was very excited that we started this podcast. It was a whole celebration. We brought wine in, and well, they did, and they just started drinking, and that was exciting. But I would say this is a very big milestone in our lives, and we've thought, like Jake said, this has been almost a whole semester's idea, really, project that we've had, that we've been wanting to do, and we just had to think about how to approach this, different topics.
Yeah, especially because we had school and stuff. Our academics are always number one.
Yes.
Especially because of pressure from our family.
Yes.
We know that that's the number one thing.
Yes.
But this podcast will help us try kind of get out some of the ideas we have in our head. And we'll be posting every week.
Yes.
Once a week.
Once a week. It is also a very good incentive for us to do this because it gives us more discipline to get our work done and then to just start working on the podcast. And it's also very good for our friendship as well, because we can spend a lot of time together talking, sharing different ideas. And that is one of the reasons why we wanted to make this, so we can spend more time and just learn from each other, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's important for us to also really do our homework. So after we do this episode, we're locking in.
Yes,
and doing our homework.
Yes, I have a lot of assignments. So, but just with anything in life, there's a sacrifice, there's a price to pay. So I could be doing homework right now and maybe not working on this, but you lose some and you gain some. So I think this is a very good thing that I can gain. And it's for me just losing time and not doing my homework yet. So, and Jake is gonna help me and teach me certain things.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
I have a lot of time on my hands.
Yes, he's an academic weapon, and he's very efficient. So the best of all of us.
Back to the start of the podcast. It was a little bit of us just on and off planning and thinking about the podcast. So
yes,
it was me trying to figure out the schedule, how to even start a podcast.
Yes.
Because we have no idea.
It's
not
have
as simple as just
no.
turning on a camera.
Yes.
And then sending that off.
Yep.
And so.
And also brainstorming different names. we're the thinking
Oh my
podcast,
God.
but
Our name was made by like complete accident.
yes, it was a very. What was it? It was like
I know you were
Yeah.
were doing like an application.
Yes.
And literally you just typed in thinking, and I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute,
yes, we would use this.
we could use that.
Yeah.
We had some weird names.
Yes.
Before.
What was it? Uncle Ben,
The
the
we
Sliver.
would never use that.
That was another one that I came up with. I came up with very weird names,
Yeah.
but I think thinkings is a very good one. Also,
Definitely.
yeah. Also figuring out like the presentation that we were thinking of, like, you know, how were we going to show this to other people? Were we going to do videos, audio? We decided we could do both. Post things on YouTube and on other platforms for podcasts. So
Yeah, and we're gonna definitely have different settings, different clothes on.
Yep.
So look out for anything where we're wearing things specific. We'll probably point it out.
Yep.
Probably for Halloween, we'll have something cool.
Yes. Special episode. Foreshadowing. And so when we started thinking about this too, we sort of had different, I guess, ways we're going to approach this too. I mean, question of like timing. We were thinking, what times should we really do this? I mean, one thing was doing it once a week. Another one was to release multiple episodes, maybe twice a week or something like that. But I think then we sort of thought, well, it might be good to just do one.
Yes.
This can be time consuming.
Especially how everything will be laid out schedule-wise.
Yeah.
We'll be doing just one episode per week.
Yeah.
Unless somehow we have more time, but then it won't be consistent.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I doubt I will have more time, like, as
Yeah.
time goes too. So, because I think school is gonna get more difficult. So, and so yeah. What else? Do you
then,
want to say?
Part of starting this podcast was also just, it's always in our mind. The podcast was always in our mind. It was something really, really fun that we
Yeah.
could do.
Yep.
We kept it in our minds. I kept on texting Rogelio
Yeah.
about the podcast constantly,
Mm-hmm.
doing the concept art and everything, which is still a little bit unfinished at this point
Yes.
in time.
It's still in the works. So it's a work in progress.
But it's definitely important to keep the idea alive,
Yep.
because otherwise we would have never started this.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of had a sense of urgency to actually be able to do it, mainly because there's so many benefits to having a podcast, just to be able to talk
Yeah.
and just sit down for a little bit. Also gives us a little bit of break from classes,
Yeah, it's true. It
from
does.
basically anything else. And it's just something new. We
Yeah.
both like learning new information
Yes.
and attaining new knowledge
Yep.
and attaining new skills. So this is a little bit of something new for us to learn.
Yes, it's true.
So this is definitely a learning process for
Learning
us.
process,
We're going
yeah.
through a learning process trying to do this podcast.
Yeah. We also like to talk really a lot about anything really and different things. So that's very interesting. But another approach, I guess, to thinking that other people can like approach or to just start out is just by mapping out different things.
Yeah.
I mean, we did have to do that. I mean, we're still thinking of the timeline of how the podcast is going to look like. So
Yeah, we're still making up the ideas for
Yeah.
even episode 2, which is
Yes.
within a week.
Yes. So, but just to branch out into the aspect of thinking, into just the idea of it, we also can talk about other things that we've done concerning or just related to thinking. So I have done projects and I've worked on different things before that just require me to think and to just, I don't know, map out different things, just brainstorm and just work at it all over and over again. One of the things I did, I remember that took me some time, was doing this science project. I was trying to find a way to use piezoelectricity as a power source. And this was in Haiti, actually. This was for a science project I had to do in, I think, high school or middle school, I don't remember. And it wasn't really a success, because I didn't have the right tools. I didn't have the knowledge exactly to make this, and so I ended up not really building it the right way, and I wasn't very happy about that. So, and I've had other instances, but I don't know, Jake, what in the realm of science or engineering, what have you done?
So, this brings up something interesting. The way that me and Rogelio met
Yeah.
was through a common program.
Yes.
We did summer research together at UWM. It was for incoming students. So we went in, there's like 30 students, and we did not know at all who we were going to meet.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone was a little bit scared, just like how we're scared of doing this first episode ever.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, we were laughing like
laughing,
crazy just before making this episode. Because we could not stop thinking about how this is gonna be out there.
And just thinking about just this camera just pointing at us.
And that brings up another good point. Don't be afraid to do something just because of fear.
Yeah.
Fear of just doing bad, doing something wrong, and asking questions that are stupid questions.
Yeah. Yes, true. I guess some people can maybe not understand that others have certain questions that it's not really the fact that they're stupid, but it's just really the fact that they cannot fully comprehend what things are.
Yeah, sometimes people just need like another reiteration.
Yes, another point of view, because at times you can, at times you can ask a certain question many times, but at a certain point, that's when it actually clicks. And like you need that. Especially
if there's like a language barrier too.
Yep. I have issues sometimes with understanding things just because English is not my mother tongue. Like English is my third language really. And sometimes I guess people aren't patient with me. The fact that I cannot really understand right away. But at the same time, like I'm very grateful that I can speak other languages because I'm able to communicate then with more people and have a variety of, I guess, connections. But definitely trying to understand things is a big barrier, really, with things.
And that language barrier just also goes beyond just language in general. It could also just mean vocabulary.
Yeah.
Sometimes technical language can be really hard to understand just because it doesn't make that much sense. And then just conventions can make things harder too. How things have been conducted throughout history.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit hard because you got to look at the old processes and compare them to the new processes.
Yeah. And I mean, even that can be time consuming. I remember reading a technical book. What was it? I think it was my math textbook, and I couldn't understand a lot of words. And I think that's why I'm probably not doing good in some of these math or understanding some of this math concept, because either the books can be too complicated to understand, and sometimes you want to understand things in depth, but at the same time you don't want to understand them in depth because you can like get confused. And so that's when you have to think of different strategies and different ways, which can also be a little confusing as well, because if you don't really know how to approach something, and let's say you're just doing or just going at it or just saying, okay, let me just figure something out, you could get confused as well. Like I've trying to understand things myself, and it doesn't always work. And that's when I would need someone to really break it down for me, because even me trying to understand things can be difficult. It's not bad to ask for help. You could really do that. I think that's very important. Especially ask for help from people that can be patient with you and that can explain things well. So.
Yeah. And then that hard work
that
you have to do that is very necessary for success in anything, literally.
Yes.
It doesn't matter like if you're smart or dumb. Either way, you have to work hard as you can, because then what are you doing with your potential at that point?
And remember that hard work can be talent too. If you really work hard, you can really achieve amazing things. And I mean, sometimes people are limited by certain factors, but sometimes a person's weakness can be their strength in something, because maybe something that someone can do or is able to do, someone could probably still do it, because humans can figure things out, really. Like, they can either be the best version of themselves with limitations, right? And just like achieve amazing things. Like, I've seen some of these people that lack certain things and they're amazing. Like, how do you compare with someone who's probably, I don't know, a full human being or complete, and these people that can do as amazing things as others can?
And those couple of cases where people with less opportunity or just less innate ability,
Yeah.
those cases where they actually end up succeeding,
Yes.
and then being the top is just amazing, just
is
because
very
that just
amazing.
shows that everyone could just do what
Yep.
you put your mind to.
Yep. That's the power of will.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's good to work smart,
Yes.
but then working smart by itself is not always good by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to work with others too. Have different perspectives.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes.
Definitely.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Don't be afraid of making those initial mistakes.
Yep.
Because if you don't make those initial mistakes, then you still might have to make those mistakes later down the line. You're just prolonging
Yes.
when you're gonna make that mistake.
Yep. I would definitely be honest with you guys. Sometimes I'm afraid of making mistakes, but with time I've learned that making mistakes, I've come to accept mistakes more.
Being a perfectionist.
Yes, I am
'Cause
kind
I've been a perfectionist because I know how it feels like to always just want to get straight A's like
Yes.
crazy. But if you're doing the best you can and you're only getting a B or C, that's still passing. And literally, if you're consistent and you're hardworking, that'll take you all the way.
Yeah. So yeah. But going back to the question of some of the things that we've done, say trial and error, or we've researched and we've tried but it doesn't work, like the piezoelectric idea I had. What has been anything that you've made that you work on, maybe it didn't work or something, or you had
Probably
difficulties?
a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are unfinished.
Yeah, same. I have a lot of projects that, writing. I mean, I do write stories, and there's a lot of unfinished stuff. I have like notebooks, and you've seen them.
Yeah, I've seen your notebooks. There's a lot of unfinished things, but there's definitely the characters. There's still like the different individual like story arcs that you have ideas about.
Yeah.
And then I also have my own ideas in my notes.
Yes.
I have different story ideas and like different story titles, but I haven't really worked on any of them until this class I'm taking in school where I'm actually required to make a short story. But then that is really going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Because then I get to see one of my stories come to fruition. It's going to be really nice.
I actually remember one time, I think it was during the 8th grade, I wrote a story I had, and it was pretty cool because I think I wrote probably 10 pages worth of content, and that was pretty cool because, I mean, in Haiti I started writing a book and I was at 40 pages, and that was pretty nice. But then I decided to, I kind of want to make this into a comic book, the story I had. And I just write. I just like to write. It's very, very nice. But going to things like engineering or the piezoelectric transducer project I had, another thing that I've kind of failed and I'm trying to persist on it is just, like we said, language. I mean, since language is a big barrier, I always try to read more things, and I try to write down words that I don't understand, which that's probably one of the best ways to just understand things. And I also try to read in Spanish or French or English. And I mean, when I was younger, I was much more fluent, I guess, in French. I could speak it better. But as I got older, with just the English kind of affected my ability to really speak French better. And I mean, I speak English so much now, but French is something that I really want to get better. And just knowing like grammar things or different words. So, but yeah, and you, what's another
Some more stuff.
Yeah.
So we have kind of a lot of hobbies.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that starts but then is unfinished. But starting is one of the most important things, because then the things that are most important to us actually get done.
Yeah.
And there are things like, I wanted to learn shorthand, specifically Greg shorthand, which is just one type of shorthand. And just because I wanted to be able to write really fast.
Yeah.
But then I haven't been able to really practice just because I haven't really felt like doing it. And it's not really that important to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's not that conducive to my learning, and it's not conducive to much of my academic studies.
Wait, is that like cursive?
It's a little bit like cursive, but it's more based off of the sound of words rather than the actual letters themselves to be able to write faster.
Yeah.
And then also just having those hobbies, just wanting to do stuff is important to actually starting to do things.
Yeah.
Because you really want to be curious and you actually want to do things that you want to like doing.
Yeah.
And also don't be afraid of doing things that you might not like just because you don't like the idea of it.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely things where we have gone through some stuff or some activities that we might not have like wanted to do, but then when we actually did them, we actually got some really good stuff out of it. Like going to events, literally every time we go to an event, something like unexpected happens. Like 100% of the time. Like when we went to this preparation for a career fair event.
Yes, we did.
And I was going to go there by myself.
Yes.
And then I found this guy just laying around doing his homework.
Yes.
And then I took him with me to go look at the employer panel and just like listen to them and talk and everything. But then at the end, there's this thing called the career closet.
Yes, we literally got ties and clothes.
I saw this at the bottom of the event schedule. And I was like, what the heck is that? So I completely disregarded it when I went. But man, that was like worthwhile because we got a bunch of clothes for free.
Yeah.
A bunch of professional clothes for free. I got like 3 different ties.
Me too. We pretty much got the same thing, really.
Yeah,
like one shirt.
Yeah, one shirt
and three ties. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, definitely you wanna, like, going back to some of the things that Jake said, priorities I think is very important in like learning, because at times you don't want to do a lot of things because sometimes you won't get anything done at all. And that's the problem that I have, and a lot of people I guess have. It's just that we want to do so much, but we either don't have enough time or they can be time consuming as well. And well, yes, and also either they can be very difficult, you don't really know how to start them, so that can be a challenge, really. And I mean, I want to learn more languages, really, but I don't have really time to just sit down and learn them. Also, learning a new language can be difficult too. Like, how do you approach this exactly? I mean, I could think from my previous experiences how I learned new languages. It started with writing and learning basic words, but sometimes the languages that someone wants to learn are completely different. Like they sort of deviate more than the languages you know. Like I want to learn Arabic. Arabic is hard. Like I looked at some of the writing and stuff, and it looks like difficult. And for me that knows no language at all related to Arabic, I'm like, dude, how do I approach this? I mean, I know there's some countries where some Arabic countries where they speak French at least, but I don't think it really compares. Like some of the pronunciation and the sound of the Arabic words sound a little bit like French, but it's not the same thing at all, really. And then I wanted to learn Japanese because of anime, really. I was thinking of going to Japan, and I think that's pretty cool. But at the same time, Japanese is also like a language that I'm like, what is this? And also, there's, what is it, like 2 different branches of the language? It's like the
I don't
one that
know.
you write with and the one that you don't write with. I don't know. I even forgot about that. So it's like, oh my gosh, how do I really approach this? So that's why I thought, oh, maybe I should take a class or Duolingo, so I at least know some basic stuff. But even that is, you have to sit down and really learn this. And I am a person that really wants to learn something. I don't want to just scratch the surface or whatever I'm learning. I want to really learn it because I want to learn it. So the fact that I could go to Duolingo, I guess it's not enough for me, or it won't satisfy me. So I just want to leave that project or that goal that I have maybe for later on.
Yeah. I feel like we've been talking for a while, but
Yeah.
what's really funny is that we have no way of really timing of what we
No.
just did.
No.
All right, so this is us still trying to learn
Yes.
how to do the podcast.
Yes. We are trying to find ways to track our time because we don't really know.
Yeah, we could just be talking
For
like
hours.
hours on
Yes.
end and not really know
Yeah.
when we are.
Yeah. But going back to how we approach things and what is a priority
Yeah.
in terms of our learning and our goals, really. So we did talk about language. I really want to learn a lot of science things. Like I can go to I like to go to YouTube and watch videos such as three blue dots and one brown dot YouTube, where this guy explains
I kinda
all
know
these
what that is.
all these math concepts. Is pretty cool. And lately I've been very interested in just learning about cars and engines. So I mean, I don't know if I want to be a car junkie, but I mean, it sounds like a pretty cool idea. I mean, I would want to work on like cars and just anything like that. It's just pretty cool. And then I don't know, I like to just watch anything about science. Oh, in a nutshell, that YouTube channel is pretty cool. So it's just that I don't know, I just love science stuff, but I cannot learn everything. When I was younger, I wanted to be like Da Vinci. But then I realized later with
Da
age,
Vinci had a lot of opportunities.
I know, and it was just the beginning of understanding these concepts really like deeply. The beginning of like engineering or like medicine. Like he pretty much helped a lot to just understanding the human body, which is pretty cool.
And again, people like him, there's a reason why like geniuses are not always innately geniuses, and even when people are naturally smart, that doesn't mean that they're going to reach the highest level of genius they can.
Yeah.
Usually the smartest people we know have gone through some really hard work and experiences. And experiences is what makes everything more tangible to real life.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so valuable, because theory is just theory.
I mean, sometimes I guess geniuses, I guess you could see them reaching a certain level that they either don't want to pursue it, either because, I don't know, they probably think it's not really worth it. I mean, there's definitely people that think that they are probably the best of the best and they don't have to like push themselves. Whereas I don't think I'm the best of the best, but I do want to push myself because I have all these goals.
Yep.
And I think that it's hard, but it's not impossible. I just have to work twice and have to manage myself a little differently. Also, I like to learn from the best people, really. I don't like, even when you know something, and this is something that my grandfather always tells me, even if you know something already, it's very good to listen, because you never know. You don't want to go somewhere and show that you already know everything, because I guess a lot of times people are going to be like, oh, that guy knows everything. Maybe he doesn't need our help or anything. But I think even when you already know something, it's good to listen, you know? I think that certain people won't talk to you to just at the basic level completely, but it's very good to listen, I would say, just in general, even if you already know, because maybe the person can tell you something that can either change your perspective or maybe something that you never thought about. I mean, I learned many things from people, even people that probably know less things than I do about a certain subject or topic. And I think that's very interesting because it shows that there's such a lot of things that we will never finish knowing. Like, I don't think a person can't learn everything that has ever existed, because that will probably take lifetimes. So
Yeah.
I always like to learn from others.
And sometimes, sometimes the people who ask the most hard-hitting questions are the people that don't know as much as someone who knows a lot.
Yeah.
Just because they have the mindset of nowhere near the realm of
Yes.
that topic. So when they
Yep.
hear something and they ask a genuine question about the topic, it's usually something that's really hard to answer.
Yeah, it is. It's true. Certain questions can be so complex, or the answer can be very difficult to just respond or just answer, that you're like, oh, what exactly is this person asking me? Or sometimes I don't even know what to really ask as a question, because the concept can be difficult or not really easy to grasp or just wrap my head around. So it all depends, and it can be very fascinating and confusing at the same time. So yeah, but we really, I would say, I like to listen to other people's points of views in general. Like, even if you could be, I don't know, you could probably sound insane, I want to hear you, because there could be something that I'm not always seeing. And
There could be something there.
Yes, you're not going to always see this, so it's very important. And yeah, really.
Yeah, and if there's a future where people know way more than we do and look at us and are looking at our processes and that's wrong, then that means there's definitely perspectives today that need to be looked at.
Yes.
To make the right advancements.
Exactly. And it can also tell you the importance of, I guess, the way that people think, right? So knowledge from a few hundred years ago is probably wrong than knowledge that we have right now, because we, throughout time, we've studied it, and then we've seen, okay, that guy is probably wrong, this is how you do it. I mean, that's kind of,
or they're just not fully correct.
yeah,
or they're
exactly.
missing
Or they're
information.
missing something because they probably lack the resources or the tools to just know about things. I mean, in science, that's one of the biggest things, and what scientists are always trying to prove each other wrong.
Yep. And literally, as just without any tools, we have only our 5 senses.
Yeah.
And so we need to create tools in
Yep.
order to make new observations.
Yep. So it's very, very interesting. And I mean, just like you said, people maybe in the future might see our ways to be or processes to be wrong, but maybe they have way much more advanced tech than us. But the fact that we made those mistakes now paves the road and the path towards the clarifications in the future. So I don't think it's completely wrong or I think it's very important that people just listen to each other and make mistakes. And if you have a question, even if it sounds dumb, just do it and just listen to other people's points of views. That's very important.
And I know people will complain about
Yes, they
people will. I know there are times where I'm like, oh man, that person just asked a question that was just clarified before they asked that question.
Yes.
But I know. And also, if people are like, why do you ask stupid questions? It's not like they necessarily don't like you.
Yeah.
Or if they think that you ask a stupid question, that doesn't mean they don't like you. It's just like they just don't like that question. Or it just feels like they're wasting your time. But then
yeah, because certain people just want to get to the point, and they don't want to deal with all that.
And usually, because as a student, you want to try to get the information in your head as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And so you see certain little things as hindrances.
Yeah.
But then everything's necessary in order to learn.
Yeah.
And then also, you need to allow people to ask questions, just because there are people that won't ask questions, and the people that do have questions might answer questions that people that don't talk will.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think asking questions can speak for others, really, because someone probably had a question and they probably didn't have the courage to ask it, because they were probably scared that someone would think, oh, this guy is asking dumb questions.
Yeah, in general, it lifts everyone up.
Yeah, it does. So, think it's a very important thing, you know, to what we talked about was just learning how to think, how to approach thinking. That's like the biggest thing.
If you want to know how to think, literally just start thinking.
Yes.
Just think about anything, literally. One of the most powerful things you can do is use your imagination. Because your imagination could be anything. And it could be very unique.
It can be very unique, yeah.
There are often times where, because we all need our critical thinking skills, there are a lot of times where we like to just summarize a lot of things and not really think deeply about what we just absorbed. And we need to look at our own processes in our heads and think about why we thought a certain way, or how we thought about a topic in a certain way.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very important thing. And I mean, just know that you will learn from anyone. Like, I learn something new every day. Like, today I learned something new.
Yeah.
Like,
also, if you want to be able to know a lot of stuff and be able to have a lot of stuff done, it's literally you have to go and do a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Getting out there and just trying to go to events, even if you like have to drag yourself out of bed and like you're like, oh shoot, this is gonna be like the worst thing ever. Just going there and something happening might change your mind, and you'll probably learn from it.
Yeah, and even this can be anything. It could be even something that you don't agree with, or you don't really like or necessarily want to understand. It's very important to look at, like, go to these places, because you can either meet people that can be useful to you in life. So connections. To a college student, having connections is very important, and it's like one of the things that college helps you with, just connecting with other people. And there's a lot of clubs, organizations, and that can be very helpful. And you never know what you're missing out if you don't really go, right? So, because just like Jake mentioned earlier, I was doing homework, and he just saw me and he dragged me to this event. And if I didn't go, I would have probably never gotten free ties nor a free shirt, and maybe met a person that came from a company. I think it was a cement company, I believe.
Something like that.
And it was pretty interesting, because we met him again at the job fair.
And he recognized us at the actual career fair. So it's really nice when you know people.
Exactly, and they can recognize.
One thing to think about is companies and everything and businesses are not robotic.
No.
It's not like a literal machine. It's made of people.
Yes.
And when you actually make an effort to connect with those people, you actually get a lot more opportunities.
Yes. And they will remember that, and you know, if they see you, they won't necessarily ignore you, but you know, you have to make that first impression, right? Say that, okay, this is me, this is my name, this is what I'm interested in. Just be out there, just talk to them.
And even if you're scared to do that.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of confident people out there that don't know what they're doing.
Yes, it's true. Confidence is one thing, but ignorance can be another. And also probably trying to just, again, listen and observe. That's a very important thing that can help you. So.
All right.
Yeah.
And I think we are nearing the end of this episode.
Yes.
And so I think we got like 2 minutes left.
Yes.
About.
Yep.
So let's make some closing remarks. So what did we talk about today?
We talked about starting to think, the approaches of thinking, what to do, the trial and error, the mistakes, the efforts that you need to do, trying to listen to other people, going to events or doing things that you don't like, but you never know what you're missing until you do these things.
Yeah, being very tolerant, being very open-minded. And sometimes you don't actually have to be tolerant, it's just don't act out.
Yes, it's true. You just have to be quiet and just observe. So let it unravel.
And so that basically concludes the first episode of
the Thinkings podcast.
It's really nice to have this podcast actually started. And so
today, wow, I cannot believe it.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Oh my God. It's literally we're doing this in the evening and we still got homework.
Yes. But it is worth it, and we love what we're doing right now. It's very important for us.
All right.
Have a good day, a good evening, or a good night, wherever you are. And goodbye.
Thinkings.
Thinkings.